A cultural concept of manliness that glorifies stoicism, strength, virility, and dominance, and that is socially maladaptive or harmful to mental health. Men and women both suffer when toxic masculinity perpetuates expectations that are restrictive and traumatizing. By far, the worst thing we do to males, by making them feel they have to be hard, is that we leave them with very fragile egos. The concept of toxic masculinity is used in academic and media discussions of masculinity to refer to certain cultural norms that are associated with harm to society and to men themselves. Toxic masculinity is a term often used to describe the negative aspects of exaggerated masculine traits. The term has evolved over time and has a place both in academia and in everyday speech. The concept underlying traditional masculinity are complex. Some people might find it difficult to challenge archaic thinking and to move past these negative aspects of traditional and outdated male values. And it can take time to do so. It is essential first to understand what toxic masculinity is and why it exists. A set of behaviors and beliefs that include the following: suppressing emotions or masking distress, maintaining an appearance of hardness, violence as an indicator of power, think tough guy behavior. In other words, toxic masculinity is what can come from teaching boys that they cannot express emotion openly, that they have to be tough all the time, that anything other than that makes them feminine or weak. And no, it doesn't mean that all men are inherently toxic. A predictable conflict has accompanied the term's rise. Many conservatives allege that charges of toxic masculinity are an attack on manhood itself at a time when men already face challenges such as higher rates of drug overdose and suicide. Many progressives, meanwhile, contend that the detoxification of masculinity is an essential pathway to gender equality. Amid this heated discourse, newspaper and magazine articles have blamed toxic masculinity for rape, murder, mass shootings, gang violence, online trolling, climate change, and even Brexit. Before we can engage in a conversation about masculinity or femininity, toxic or otherwise, we should be getting a few key ideas about gender. Researchers have shown that there's very little difference between the brains of men and women, while gender identity is a deeply held feeling of a male, female, or another gender. People of different genders often act differently, not because of biological characteristics, but because of rigid societal norms created around femininity and masculinity. Discussing toxic masculinity is not saying men are bad or evil. And the term is not an assertion that men are naturally violent. In fact, this conversation was started by men. It was also inspired by a feminist movement that has done much to unpack what might be called toxic femininity. After the good work feminism did to try better ways to teach girls about their options, men began to take notice and apply those same checked contract theories to their experience. A study in the Journal of School of Psychology uses the following definition to explain toxic masculinity: the constellation of socially regressive masculine traits that serve to foster domination, the devaluation of women, homophobia, and wanton violence. In modern society, people often use the term toxic masculinity to describe exaggerated masculine traits that many cultures have widely accepted, even glorified. This concept of masculinity also plays a significant importance on manliness based on strength, lack of emotion, self-sufficiency, dominance, and sexual virality. According to traditional toxic masculine values, a man who does not display enough of these traits, they fall short of being a real man. Overemphasis of these traits may lead to harmful imbalances in someone trying to live up to these expectations. Some examples include aggression, sexual aggression or control, showing no emotion or suppressing emotion, hypercompetitiveness, needing to dominate or control others, a tendency towards or glorification of violence, isolation, low empathy, entitlement, chauvinism, and sexism. One example of this includes telling another person who is showing emotion to man up. In other words, to hide their emotion. In other words, this example shows how some people look emotions or vulnerability as unmanly. Another common example is the saying, boys will be boys. This expression advocates for careless, aggressive, or otherwise damaging behavior in young males rather than teaching them about responsibility and owning up to their mistakes. Expressions of this type highlight how cultures and societies have traditionally viewed males. However, these views can cause harm and embellish the idea of masculinity needing to even more toxic attitudes towards these behaviors. Many people now view masculinity and the gender role it creates as a combination of behaviors shaped by several factors, including age, race, class, culture, sexuality, religion. As such, what defines masculinity can take many forms. For one society or even subculture feels as masculine, another might reject it. This becomes a shifting idea then, rather than a hard, narrow set of rules. The roots of what many people view as masculinity developed thousands of years ago, where the early Homo sapien used strength to exert dominance or to take charge. Most successful male Homo sapiens were those who could fight and hunt. In those times, the most desirable males would have had aggression, ruthlessness, and physical strength. These behaviors continued for centuries. Throughout history, dominant male rulers have taken power by conquering others. So this stayed unchanged until the 80s or the 90s of the last century, when these traditional male behaviors became incompatible with this contemporary society. However, because contemporary society has led to such a shift in attitude towards these male behaviors, and because it no longer celebrates these archaic views on masculinity, certain groups and subcultures still fall victim to these expected norms. This is when masculinity can become toxic. It is this need for certain men to be a certain way, as dictated by an ideology that has long become obsolete. If a male believes that they're not meeting these exaggerated traits or not aligning with these narrow views, they may feel they're falling short. This may result in the need to lash out or exaggerate these traits to reestablish the manhood. While some people use the term toxic masculinity to encompass all masculine traits, this may simply be a way to put down all males. Not just these masculine traits. From a healthy standpoint, masculinity itself is non-toxic. What people decide is masculine can be healthy traits when they're balanced. Any person can live by them and function well within the society. When a boy or an adult male views the world through the narrow lens provided by these exaggerated masculine traits, they may feel that they will only gain acceptance by living up to these traits. Unchecked toxic masculinity and the behaviors it can cause may lead to a variety of issues, such as bullying, school discipline, academic challenges, jail or prison, domestic violence, sexual assault, risky behaviors, substance abuse, suicide, psychological trauma, lack of friendship or genuine connection. Some theories indicate that toxic masculinity plays a role in physical health. Toxic masculinity may prevent some men from seeking out help for possible health issues and other related problems. For some males, asking for help may lead to a feeling of inadequacy, weakness, and perception of being a lesser of a man. The American Psychological Association notes that the dangers of trying to adhere to these exaggerated traits, men and boys, forced to cling to these traits, often experience adverse effects and may face problems such as depression, body image poor social function, substance abuse, stress. Furthermore, As feeling emotional or talking openly about feelings go against these traditional masculine values, there's the added risk that men experiencing mental health issues might not seek professional care or talk about their struggles with friends or family. So societal pressures, expectations for family and sexual partners, and even expectations of religious identities can be burdensome to a man seeking out his masculine identity. While some social political groups may provide a set of guidelines for this healthy way of masculinity, it is better for individual to seek their own definition, so long as it does not harm themselves or others. A new definition of what it means to be a male. It might include overall human experiences, such as openly experiencing a wide range of emotions, interdependence, vulnerability, cooperation, kindness, softness. This does not mean abandoning all traditional masculine traits, including some masculine characteristics such as strength and adventure. It may help some people define their own masculinity. More importantly, it is not something society or any definition can install in a person, nor is it something it can take away. It is up to each individual to define their identity. Expanding and integrating new concepts into individual definitions of masculinity may help better understand and accept themselves and others. Inviting a friend to share their emotions or feelings about a topic and openly discuss them without judgment or criticism is a great way to move forward. Deliberate questioning and working against exaggerated traits can help people redefine masculinity and move beyond outdated, damaging patterns of thinking such as those created by toxic masculinity. The definition of toxic masculinity centers around these exaggerated versions of traditional, now archaic masculine traits. These ideas around what a man should be forces some men to accept a very narrow view of what it means to be masculine, which can be harmful to those who cannot adhere to those supposed standards. Some men might act out some of these behaviors as they strive to be more masculine. This can lead to questionable and dangerous behaviors. Moving past toxic masculinity becomes with redefining what it means to be a man. We should inspire to find a healthy definition of individuality and work towards achieving it, holding space for others to openly discuss their feelings about the issue, and it may help people reshape their own definitions as well.